French Contreras.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. I was having some computer issues.
No problem.
Do you want me to go ahead and get started?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Ana Armenta. I am the Arizona Racing Commission Secretary. Today is November 15th, 2024. And this is the Arizona Racing Commission taking place via Google Meets. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras.
Here.
Vice Chair Olson.
Present.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Present.
Commissioner Zucker.
Present.
Commissioner Padish. Commissioner Padish.
Has he been invited into the meeting yet?
He has, and he tested it this
morning.
I'm not seeing his name on the side here in the viewer section unless he's calling with a phone number, Anna.
I'm not sure. Can you go ahead and let those phone numbers in?
I have.
Commissioner Padish.
It looks like he just joined. I just made him a contributor.
Okay. Commissioner Padish, I'm taking roll.
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With a total of 5, we have a quorum. It is now 10:06 a.m. and the floor is yours, Chair.
Thank you very much. We are calling to order the 729th Arizona Racing Commission meeting. Action item B, we will drop right down into 1. In case you didn't notice in the roll call, we now have a full commission with the addition of Commissioner James Padish. He has an amazing background. I had the pleasure of meeting with him yesterday, and I'm going to turn this over to him and give him an opportunity to give you a little bit of background and introduction on himself. Commissioner Padish?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I know many of you, and for those of you who do not know me, my name is Jim Padish. I'm a former Superior Court judge here in Maricopa County. I returned to practice several years ago. I've got a pretty active litigation and mediation practice. More to the point in regard to what we're doing in this commission, I'm a former thoroughbred racehorse owner in Arizona. I've been a lifelong racing fan, and I have become particularly interested in the way that racing comes together, both from the owner's point of view, the trainer's point of view, jockey's point of view, the commission's point of view, the state's point of view, and the fans' point of view. And I look forward to being able to work with all of you on this commission to address all of those equal interests.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's drop down, and thank you again. A big welcome to you. We're very excited to have a full commission. That does not mean that applications aren't still being taken. Let's keep in mind that we're happy to have extras in the wings in the event anything happens. I'd love to be able to keep our commission fully seated and moving forward as quickly as possible. So with that in mind, let's drop down to action item B2. TP Racing LLP respectfully requests approval to amend the following 2024-25 charity race dates. Originally was Saturday, November 2nd. They would like to move it to Saturday, November 30th, 2024. Do I have any comments or additional information from the gaming staff?
This is Brian Duncan, Enforcement Manager. Good morning to all of you, Madam Chair, commissioners, stakeholders, and attendees. First, I do want to welcome aboard the new Commissioner Padish. Pleasure to have you here and fill us up with now 5 commissioners.
Thanks, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
In item B2, Turf has requested to amend their charity date. That was requested and approved during the commission meeting on October 10th. Due to the cancellation of the live race day scheduled for November 2nd, Turf is now requesting we change the charity date to November 30th. The remaining 2 other charity dates, November 28th and Saturday, May 3rd, are going to remain the same. And with all that, the department would recommend the request change for the charity date be moved to November 30th.
Thank you very much. Do I have any discussion from my fellow commissioners or a motion?
Chair, I'll make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd move to approve TP Racing's request to amend the 2024-2025 charity race dates from Saturday, November 2nd to Saturday, November 30th, 2024.
Thank you.
I
Second.
will second it. This is Commissioner Zucker.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. With a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Zucker, I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Padish. With
Yes.
a total of 5 yeses. Thank you. That motion passes.
Thank you very much. Let's drop down then to B3, simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U. This includes A through 1 through 6, Oakland Park, Fairgrounds, Tampa Bay Downs, Turfway Park, Los Alamitos, and Gulfstream Park Championships. Do I have Commissioner Olson, Vice Chair Olson, you've raised your hand. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Chair. Thank you. I just want to recuse myself from 385, please.
That would be Turfway Park,
Or Los Alamitos.
Los Alamitos. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is noted. Do I have any comments or additional information from the staff?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Brian Duncan again. I did supply and review all the contracts. All is in order with items 1 through 5. Item 6, Gulfstream Park. The Exhibit A dates on page 207 of the packet expire after today. I have requested the permittee submit a new Exhibit A sheet signed by both parties to extend to the intended dates of November 28th through March 30th of 2025. With that being said, the department would recommend the 5112U contracts be approved for B3A 1 through 5 for Turf Paradise, and item 6, Gulfstream Park, be conditionally approved until the Exhibit A is being received from the permittee. I would also like to say that in the contract, it does state, and I believe it's on page 201, that if they continue to bet on it and the entity lets them, then it does continue as a good contract. But I would just like to get confirmation with the Exhibit A. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With that being said, let's do 2 motions then with that conditional information, and then we will look at Oakland Park separately. How does that sound?
Chair, I can make the first motion.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Chair, I'd move to approve agenda item B3 A, items 1 through 4, and again, just one moment. I think it's number 6 is the conditional approval, correct, Mr. Duncan?
That is correct, Gulfstream Park.
So items 1 through 4, Oaklawn Park, Fairgrounds, Tampa Bay Downs, and Turfway Park, and move to approve the simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U.
Second.
Thank you. With a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge, I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Paddock.
Yes.
With a total of 5 yeses, thank you. That motion passes.
Thank you very much. Let's then drop on down to our next agenda item. Sorry, I'm having,
Madam Chair, if I may, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 3A5, please.
yes, sir. Thanks for catching that, Commissioner Coolidge. Go ahead.
I'll
Madam
second that.
Secretary, do you need my motion again?
Yes, please.
I move that we approve item 3A5 pursuant to ARS 5-112U, please.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Coolidge and a second by Commissioner Paddock. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
I've recused.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Paddock.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, that motion passes with conditional approval. Thank you.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Olson, you had a comment?
Oh, yes, Chair. I was just wondering if you would entertain a conditional motion for 3A6.
Yes, ma'am, please.
I'd like to conditionally approve agenda item B3A6, simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U for Turf Paradise Gulfstream Park Championship meet, conditioned on the department's receipt of an updated Exhibit A and to empower the department to act without further action from the commission.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by Commissioner Coolidge. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Paddock.
Yes.
With a total of 5 yeses, thank you. That motion passes with conditional approval.
Thank you very much. Am I the only one that's very excited to hear you have to call so many names for your role on motions? It's very pleasing to me. Let's drop down then to 4 simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA Section 33004A3. It's A1 through 6 Gulfstream Park Championship meet, Oakland Park, Fairgrounds, Tampa Bay Downs, Turfway Park, and Los Alamitos. Vice Chair Olson, will we have a recusal then on 2?
Vice Chair, or excuse me, Chair, I'll be recusing on Los Alamitos, which on this list is item 6.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Zucker, you've raised your hand.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question of the department in reference to item 3 Fairgrounds. The anticipated date is 1 week from today. Is that going to be sufficient time before we move forward on this? Does the department feel confident that the pending approvals are going to be completed in 1 week? And that applies to actually Tampa Bay Downs, which is 5 days from now. Number
Great.
4.
Commissioner Zucker, I can answer that. We are in hopes that we will get approvals from everybody, including the Arizona HBPA, which has not approved any of these.
Sir, is it reasonable to assume that within 5 days, Tampa Bay Downs will be approved, or are we stretching it by providing a conditional approval by the commission this time?
Well, with the conditional approval, Commissioner, if we do not receive all of the information or all the pending documents, they will not be allowed to turn on their signal. So as long as we do give them conditional approval, until those dockets are received, we do not let them turn the signal on.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Appreciate you clarifying.
Thank you. Ms. Marciano, you raised your hand.
Yes, Madam Chair. My computer just froze and I just didn't hear every word that the enforcement manager said, but if everyone else did, I'm fine. I just wanted to note that.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I just noted that my audio froze, but if everyone else heard it, then it's just on my end.
Okay, yeah, I think we're good. The gist of the matter is that staff feels that all the information will be in timely for them to be able to make that determination. Otherwise, the signal won't be turned on. So, any other questions? Mr. Duncan, go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair. I just want to let the commission know that all items in B4A 1 through 6 are missing documentation, whether it be the host commission, the host horseman, or the Arizona HBPA. So it would be the department's recommendation that all 6 items be approved pending the rest of the documentation. I'm sorry, be conditionally approved pending the rest of the documentation being turned in.
Thank you, sir. Before we have any further discussion or a motion on this item, Mr. Francia, you raised your hand. Is it in regard to item 4?
Madam Chair, Vince, Mr. Francia, and myself are sharing one video phone. The raising of the hand was of mine, and I was just going to give the same explanation that Mr. Duncan just gave, so that the commissioner had a better understanding of why it should be approved. So that's all.
All right, so you have anything else to add to that? And otherwise, I can ask for a motion.
No, Mr. Duncan was very clear and concise and explained it perfectly.
Lovely, thank you. Do I have any further discussion on item 4A 1 through 6? If not, do I have a motion?
Chair, I can make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to move to conditionally approve agenda item B4A, items 1 through 5, Gulfstream Park, Oaklawn Park, Fairgrounds, Tampa Bay Downs, and Turfway Park for simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA Section 3004A3, conditioned upon the receipt of all requisite documentation and to empower the commission or the department to act without further action from the commission upon receipt.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Zucker. Second.
Thank you very much. Anna?
Thank you. With a motion by Vice Chair Olson and a second by, and I think it was Commissioner Zucker, or was that Commissioner Paddish?
Zucker.
Zucker and Parrish.
Commissioner Zucker. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Paddish.
Yes.
Thank you. With a total of 5 yeses, That motion passes with conditional approval.
Thank you very much. Let's drop down then to items C, the information reports, dropping down. Yes, ma'am.
Sure. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify that my motion was only for items 1 through 5.
Thank you. Yeah, let's make that clarification. And so do we have a second motion?
That motion has already gone through. We need another
Amend
motion.
it?
The
Okay.
other item.
No, my motion was only for 1 through 5, and I did state that. I just wanted to make sure it was clear in case another motion was on the table.
Great. Do we have that clarification, Anna? The
Yes.
motion for a 1 through 5. So we do need a second motion on agenda item 4A6, Los Alamitos.
Yes.
Okay. I'll move that we approve Los Alamitos.
And that's conditional upon the staff receiving the remaining documentation and making the necessary decisions. Correct?
We didn't catch that, Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Zucker. I second it.
Thank you, sir. Anna, go ahead.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Coolidge and a second by Commissioner Zucker. I will call the roll. Madam Chair French Contreras,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
I recuse.
Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Padish.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, thank you. That motion passes with conditional approval.
Thank you very much. Let's drop down then to C, number 1, track safety report. Do we have staff available to present this information?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Juan Estrada, Arizona Department of Gaming. First, I want to take the time to thank Mr. Padish for joining the team. Greatly appreciate it. Not much to report on the safety. We're going to continue to monitor, document, and report anything we see. Turf is steadily addressing some of the major concerns we have. I will continue to work, or the department will continue to work at HISA, the HPPA Jockeys Guild, and Turf itself to make sure that all items continue to be addressed and then reported if we run into any hiccups. I also want to take the time to let everyone know we have a safety steward, Don Roush, back on board, which is a big help to the department. So he'll be helping us out with any items that are pending with the racing. That's all I have for the, excuse me.
Thank you. Dr. Gale, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I have a brief report just on the first week of the meet.
Yeah.
There were 340 horses that entered to race. 33 of those were scratched. Of the scratches, 3 were scratched on pre-race exam for being unsound. There were an additional 3 that were scratched either in the paddock or on the track during the post-parade or gate for being unsound or injured. The rest were for various reasons, stakes, stewards, illness, that sort of thing. Again, out of the 4 race days, we had 15 claims. None were voided. There were no horses vanned off. There was 1 horse that was found to be unsound after the races. There are 6 others we wanted to do follow-up exams on. And there was 1 horse that had an injury during training. And that's,
Hello.
Hi.
oh, and I have one.
Have you had my safety briefing before?
Not yours.
Okay. I'll run
Yes.
through it.
Commissioner Coolidge, I believe you have your mic on.
Okay.
My apologies. Go ahead, Dr. Gale.
No problem. Just an update, again, to date, there have been 7 horse fatalities at Turf Paradise. Again, the previous meeting, there were 2 due to injury, 2 due to illness and 1 due to injury. Since that time, we've had 2 horses that had catastrophic limb injuries during training. We had 1 other horse have a traumatic episode flipping over, and then we had just recently a horse that suddenly died that we're investigating, and they're all being necropsied, and those reports are pending.
Thank you, Dr. Gale. The sudden death, was that on the track or in the back?
It was in the barn on the backside.
Okay, thank you. And Mrs. Marciano, let me know if I'm out of turn, but I have a comment regarding track safety, and I'm thinking this is the best time to bring it up. I've been at the track several times in the last week or so, and one of the things that concern me as far as track safety is personnel at the track and at the gate really have no idea who I am, and throughout over a week, I walked through that gate 6 times and nobody ever questioned me. There was no security, no staff, nobody that stopped me from even going through the gate and going into the backside. And that concerns me. I don't know if that's the standard there or if Mr. Roush has more information on that, or Mr. Francia, but security, I think, goes a long way to track safety. And I have concerns about somebody being able to just go into the backside without any questions. Any comments on that? Yes, Mr. Francia, go ahead, or Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'm sorry, my attention was drawn. Are you talking about the stable gate?
Yes, sir, over by licensing. That
Oh,
says.
the north gate,
Yes.
gate.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There's a security officer there from 5 in the morning until, let me see, I believe 6 o'clock in the evening.
Well, I can tell you that nobody was there doing anything as far as letting me go in and out. So that has some concerns for me. It might be something that needs to be addressed.
Okay, I will get with the security director immediately following this meeting, and it will be addressed and corrected.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Any further comments from staff or input regarding track safety report? Thank you, Dr. Gale, Mr. Estrada. Thank you very much. Let's drop down to C2 budget report.
Happy Friday. This is Latrina Roseman with the Department of Gaming. I'm going to give you the budget report for the month end of October 31st.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Our cash balance is $1,645,000. We are due to spend $2.3 million. As always, we are going to, per statute, we give out $250,000 for the Breeders' Awards. Far as revenue, the RWA, we collected $60,049. We have not collected any pari-mutuel tax thus far. We didn't have any dark day assessments this particular month for the month of October. License fees for boxing, we collected $2,830. License fees for racing, we collected $25,166. Going down to our expenses, payroll and employee-related expenses for the month of October was $191K. Didn't pay any legal costs nor any building rent that month, and all our other contracted and temporary staffing was $131,000, bringing us to the total expenses of $322 for the month. Next slide. And here is a picture of our appropriation, and we are looking good as far as what we're spending and the amount that we're spending on a monthly basis. The purple or the lavender, the lilac is our encumbered, and what we have spent is in the green. Next slide. And this last slide is the Racing cash balance. And it shows like in the beginning of the month where we look like we spent a little bit more. It was because we get, we pay the encumbrances, like they're, you know, set for the year, but we've actually been spending pretty low under our mark, and we're due to spend according to what we have forecasted for the end of the year. We're still on point. Is there any questions for me?
Just as far, sorry, this is Commissioner or Chair French Contreras. Just as far as payroll and staffing is concerned, is that reflect fully staffing for seasonal, or do we still have additional seasonal employees that are going to come on board?
I believe that reflects what we had hired all the way through October, and I think that we've done all our hiring in October already.
Wonderful. Thank you. Director Johnson, yes? You have a comment?
Yeah, Chairwoman, just to add to what Latrina just said. So she's correct. That just captures October, but we have been bringing on seasonal staff this month. So that will reflect when you see November's report. But we are adding additional staff, seasonal staff for this month. So that's not reflected in this October.
Thank you, ma'am. Can you tell me what is the increase in seasonal staff? What's the numbers?
Let me ask Mr. Duncan. Brian, do you know what our numbers are for seasonal staff right now?
Yeah, for seasonal, we have added an additional 4 people, and then we have hired 2 full-times.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Any further comments or questions from my fellow commissioners? Okay, let's drop down then to agenda item 3. That would be our legislative update, and Jessica Rosa.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Commissioners, stakeholders. So legislative update. So after several days of counting votes, we do now have a clear picture post-election of what to expect. The Arizona legislature will remain under GOP control in both Senate, House. We are at a Senate majority of 17-13. Arizona House gained 2 seats, increasing majority to 33-27. Of course, these are all pending the necessary canvasses, any statutorily required recounts, and official election certification. The leadership elections have been held for both chambers, and committee assignments for the Senate have been announced. I have not seen House ones yet. As for the upcoming legislative session in January, we'll share any relevant agency priorities to the commission once they've been finalized. Of course, as an agency and regulator, we remain neutral. We do look forward to working collaboratively with all stakeholders involved. Please let me know if there's any questions or if you want to connect with me.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Chair French Contreras. Do you have an idea, have they mentioned when they plan on certifying or canvassing the final votes for Maricopa County?
I do not have, there's a specific date that they have. I do not have that date on hand, but everything is clearly outlined with specific deadlines that they need to meet. I can connect with you and provide that update to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Dropping any other questions from fellow commissioners? Then we'll drop down then to number 4, report on the International Horse Racing Integrity Act. Mr. Guessman, are you available?
Yes, Chairman. Leroy Guessman, the National HBPA, reporting on the HISA lawsuits. There's been nothing new to report since the last meeting. Everything is at the doorstep of the United States Supreme Court, and we're just waiting for them to make some type of ruling. And I'd just also like to welcome our new commissioner, Padish. It's great now to have a full staff. We're happy to see that. Any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
All right, no questions from fellow commissioners. We'll drop down to permittee reports. Do we have anything from American Greyhound Racing? How about county fairs? Turf Paradise.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Vincent Francia for Turf Paradise. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Judge Padish for being appointed to the commission on behalf of the Turf Paradise family, management, and horsemen. The best of all things to report from Turf Paradise is we got in our first full week of racing, and there's a lot of people that I like to thank. Turf Paradise owner Jerry Sims, whose support was unwavering as we went through many challenges. The guidance of staff from the Department of Racing and from HISA, the horsemen who kept me going when things were a bit challenging. But most of all, I think to the Turf Paradise staff, that I was really pushing to get things done. And the result of that is we were able to open on Monday and complete our first full week of racing. One does not get here without the help of the leadership of the HBPA. And I would also thank them. So we are out of the gate in racing, and that's the best of all possible news for us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. And congratulations on your opening day. It looked really good out there and everybody looked very happy. So thank you for all your hard work. And we look forward to continued reports from you and your staff. Anybody have any further questions, any comments from fellow commissioners? Otherwise, we'll drop down to item 6A. Optional Industry Stakeholder Association updates, Arizona County Racing Association. Do we have anything from Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association?
Yes, Madam Chair, French Contreras, Lloyd Yother, I will cover all horses if that's permissible through the thoroughbred, for the HBPA portion of the 6D.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'd like to, first of all, welcome Judge Pattis and commend the state, the commission and the state for filling the voided seats on the commission. It's been a long, long time since we had a full commission. And I think if we keep a full commission that it can benefit racing in general and cut out a lot of the delays we have because we don't have quorums and so forth. So I've been pushing for that for a number of years, and we got it done. Congratulations and welcome, Judge Padish. Moving on to your Chairman Contreras. I've been out to the track several times this past month, and I've seen you out there. I commend you for coming out and seeing firsthand how things are going and what was going on. And there was quite some trying times. We had some issues with the track that we were late in opening our meet. We worked through those, and things seem to be running very well. I'm not in town. I'm back. I guess you saw Mr. Guessman making his report. I'm back in Kentucky. We're at the Claiming Crown that runs Saturday. It's kind of a poor man's Kentucky Derby, if you will. We got several races and some nice horses on claiming races and whatnot. But anyway, that's about me. About the track, I would like to commend Mr. Francia, staff, the people, the track people, everybody at Turf Paradise. It's been a pleasure even with the challenges that we've had this year, with the staff understanding, cooperating, collaborating together with horsemen and each other. We've been able to work through this thing. And I'd also like to give a special thanks to Mr. Sims for his ability or his understanding, cooperation, and collaboration as well. Every issue that I've brought to him, most every issue that I've brought to him this year with things that we needed and what he was very cooperative and adhered to. So everything is probably on the best footing that we've had in a number of years. And unless you have any other questions, I would, that would be the report unless you got questions. I'd be willing to answer. Thank you.
This is Chair French Contreras. Mr. Yother, can you speak as to the water trucks and the status of those?
Okay, I can. I'm personally not satisfied with the water trucks. They're old water trucks. They've got issues. Mr. Francia addressed an issue from one Estrada, that he's got the mechanics out working on the water trucks. We got 4 trucks. They break down quite often. They've got severe water leaks. They don't have pony pumps. I may be getting a little over your head, maybe, but a pony pump is attached to a water truck that supplies a designated amount of water. The trucks we have don't have those, and they run off the engine, the motor that pulls the truck. So if you're going 4 miles an hour, it puts out so much water. If you're going 6 miles an hour, it puts out more water. If you're going 10 miles an hour, it puts out more water. And it's up to the driver to be able to judge, which is pretty impossible to do from inside the truck, watering the track. So I'm not happy with the water trucks. They're trying to get them done, but I will say that we reached out to several places to try to borrow water trucks, lease water trucks. And you can't, it's not just a typical water truck because they have to be rigged for a racetrack, meaning they have to have water booms on them. We checked with Arizona Downs. They were, I don't know if we checked with them on equipment and they weren't interested at the time. So we checked with various racetracks around the country, and they just didn't seem to fit with their schedules when they'd have to have the trucks back and so forth. So the trucks that we have now, the 4 that we have, are going to have to make do with until we can get some new water trucks or some something done. It's not ideal, but it keeps us in business. And I'll entertain any other questions you might have.
Mr. Francia, perhaps you can speak to the status of, is there a search for new trucks and order? Any update as to what's going to be done with the 4 trucks? Because they're imperative to keep that track in the shape that it is now, correct?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, Vincent Francia for Turf Paradise. First point, yes, the trucks are old, so am I, but I'm still of service. And
not much.
Okay, so you have a few years on me, Lloyd. Of all the equipment we have back there, and we have quite a bit, the water trucks are the most, probably rank as some of the most important. Let me tell you what's been taken care of. The 4 new tractors we have, that's taken care of. All 4 water trucks are running and operable and are putting down the water that needs to be put down. The one leak that Lloyd referred to, we spotted yesterday, or actually I should say Dynamic Diesel spotted yesterday, and it is being repaired right now. Dynamic Diesel, I need to elaborate a little bit. They handle heavy equipment like water trucks and blades and the heavy equipment we have back there. They're with us daily. They're on call. They're right down the road and they respond very quickly. So if a piece of equipment has a burp or something more serious, in 20 minutes they're here and they're fixing it. What Lloyd mentioned about finding water trucks is certainly true. Prior to the meeting, This meeting today, I was in conversation with Dennis Moore, who's the track superintendent at Santa Anita and Del Mar, and he's in search of water trucks, can't find them. We have tried different, and by finding them, I mean going to other race courses. It's easy to find a water truck. You can go on Google and find a water truck, or go to Ritchie Brothers auction and find a water truck, but none of the water trucks is equipped with the very specific responsibilities that it has to a race course. All the race courses I've called that are in operation, that is that they're racing, they're keeping their water trucks, and that's understandable. What we do have in place here at Turf regarding the water truck, we have 4 water trucks. 3 of them are particular to the main track, the dirt track, and 1 we use to keep the dust down on the backside and water the bridle path. And in a kind of plan B thinking, because we always do that here, what if X happens, what do we do? The first response would be to the water truck that we use for the stable area. We would see if we can quickly convert it. In other words, get the arm on the long arm, the spraying. But even before we get to that, we have 3 water trucks that are on the main track, the main dirt track. And should one go out, we still have 2. We still have 2 to get around and keep the racetrack with proper moisture so the racing can continue. All of that being said, we are not giving up the search for water trucks at the race horses. I got a call into Freehold, which is a trot track in New York. It's been there for years and years, but they are closing at the end of the year to see what if they have a water truck that they're willing to part with. So it's something that's always on our radar, Madam Chair, because of the importance. Each piece of equipment is very important, but the water trucks have an extra push of importance because that moisture is so important, being on the racetrack so that these horses race safely. With all the work that the track crew has done, I noticed over the 4 days of racing we just completed, the fields of horses, when they go out of the gate, they're running much closer together, which means the track is playing fair for everybody. When they come to the head of the lane, it's whoever has the most breath left is going to get to the wire on time. All this is possible as long as you have a safe racetrack. Part of it is water, very important. The other part is harrowing. We have that down now. We have 4 new tractors, as mentioned. We have 4 identical harrows. We purchased a rototiller, which I've seen them work in a farmer's field, but never on a racetrack. So we have a lot of positives of the one that are going on here. The one thing I do keep my eye on are the water trucks. I get daily updates. Like I say, there was a leak, it was dripping. Dynamic Diesel came right out for me. They identified the problem and they fixed it. I hope this not only answers your question, Madam Chair, but that it might put you more at peace with the water trucks at Turf Paradise.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that update. Do I
Madam
have?
Chair, I'd like to speak again for me.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
I concur with what Mr. Francia is saying. We do have new equipment. We've got, like he stated, 4 new tractors leased. We got 4 new harrows. We got a rototiller. We got a blade that's got a few issues, but they're fixable. The main concern is the water trucks, and I understand. But during race days, when we're just a word of caution, during race days when we're racing and watering the track during the race meet, it takes 2 trucks, and if one goes down, getting one converted from the backside to be able to water the track is certainly a concern of mine. So the water trucks remain an issue, and until we get something that's more consistent and puts out the same amount of water, leaks or no leaks. I do know I was in town last week and I was out there and I went over and checked on the water trucks. There's several that are leaking, but that apparently is being worked on today. I think in Mr. Francia's note to Mr. Estrada. So that should be help with the issue. But my main concern is if we break down during race days and we need 2 trucks to water that track, or we can't make our scheduled race meets. So with that being said, I'll entertain any other ideas, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you, Mr. Francia. I appreciate that update very much. So we have covered the thoroughbreds, the quarter horses. Did that also include then item 6D, the HBPA?
Yes, ma'am. We don't have anything to report at this time. We have our scheduled board meeting on November the 22nd. It's open to the public, but it's for the HBPA board, and we've got some issues and things to talk about. But other than that, everything is moving pretty fair along. So thank you so much for asking.
Thank you, sir. Any comments or questions from my fellow commissioners before we drop down? Let's go to item 6E, Jockeys Guild. Do we have an update?
Good morning, Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
members of the board. I want to welcome Commissioner Hadish. I'm glad he's on board and we have a full board. That's great, finally. Madam Chair, I've been working with the gaming department and HISA to address different issues with Turf Paradise so that things are made safer for the riders. And a lot of our concerns have been addressed and they're ongoing. And it's just a pleasure to work with investigators like Brian Duncan and Mr. Estrada. Juan's been great to work with. So appreciate the backing and support of the gaming board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let's drop down then to item C7, update of the Arizona Horse Racing Economic Contribution Study. This is done from the University of Arizona's Cooperative Education down in Tucson. Yes, sir. Do you have an update for us? Mr. Quintero, I think either he needs to be let in or his mic is muted. There we go. Okay. So let's take care of that.
Yeah, he's going to have to unmute his own mic, it looks like.
Okay. Mr. Quintero, there's on the bottom buttons. Can you unmute your mic? There we go.
Oh, I found it. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity to be here. Very happy to share some progress on how we're doing on the efforts trying to analyze the economic contributions of the horse racing industry. I specifically would like to talk about how we're doing in terms of our serving efforts. So we can go to the next slide, please. As I previously presented to you last month, we designed a survey fitted to the Arizona industry, thinking about owners, breeders, and trainers, and how capturing all financial transactions from these 3 key stakeholders groups, we will be able to calculate most of the dollars related to this industry and these stakeholders groups. So we started distribution on October 21st. We partnered with the HBPA, with the ATVA, and the AQRA to lead this effort. We've been having weekly reminders for the electronic distribution efforts too, and we've been attending in-person events where major crowds of owners, breeders, and trainers attend, including the ATBA Fall Yearling and Mix Cells, the Old Horseman Group meeting at Turf Paradise, a personal visit to trainers at their barns at Turf Paradise as well. So we're leading these efforts, working constantly, trying to get as much as good information as we can from the different stakeholders. Can we go to the next one, please? So here, as I said, we have sent 4 direct individualized emails sent to all members to the HBPA and the ATBA who have shared their email addresses. We also placed yard signs in different spots at Turf Paradise with QR codes that lead to the survey. And we also placed these yard signs at the horse sale location while they were holding the horse sale. So this all comes together for the online survey distribution strategy. And if we go to the next one, we also have had efforts towards distributing physical hard copies so that people can also have the chance to, like take a pen and a paper and fill out the information whenever they have the chance. We don't ask them to do it on the spot. So what I've been doing is I've been handing it personally to the people who are willing to take it, and I give to them a ready-to-ship envelope with a postage stamp and my address to the university, so that all they need to do is go back to their houses, go back to their homes, take the time, sit down, go through their numbers and say, okay, this is how much I spend on these categories. This is how many people I employ. This is how my horse operations look like in a typical year. Then put it in the envelope, drop it in the mailbox, and then we get it that way. We scan it. We have a team of students who are capturing all this data, putting it in the database. That way we can collect and analyze all the insights we can get from the information of the key stakeholders. We can go to the next one, please. As of November 7th, that was last week, we've received 83 responses, which is not a high number to begin with, but what the research team has also encountered is that the quality of the responses, it's not yet been promising. This is a good time. The reason why I'm showing this is not like putting hands down, like it's quite the opposite. We are on time to like try to boost engagement with this study. This is a really important study that we're leading, and we're all want to have good quality information to show, and reliable information more than anything, to portray how important this industry is to the state economy. So as of right now, we are doubling down the effort, the energy towards this goal. Right now, this is how we're doing. We have about 43 reliable responses we feel confident about analyzing. If you go to the next one, please. From those 43 responses that we can reliable count on, 8 of them were not recently active in horse racing in Arizona. We're still debating internally with the team what to do with those 8 surveys. How do we handle them? How can we integrate their numbers, but at the same time, how to be cautious about what a typical year means for the state economy. So the actual number is 35 valid responses. If we go to the next one, from those responses, stakeholders who most of the year reside out of state are not engaging as much with the survey. So those numbers can be very sensitive in terms of the variability that we may have just because of how low response rate we've had so far. We've worked with some of the insights out of the information we're having, but what we're seeing is there's good room of improvement in terms of both quantity and quality of responses for this survey. If we go to the next one, please. The main avenue we all have to get to the number that we want to get to, which is the dollar amount of the different components of the industry contributing to the state economy, will come most from the information we can get from owners, breeders, and trainers about revenues, expenditures, employment, and investments. And those sections of the survey are not being, as of right now, well taken care of from the people that we're serving. We have some reliable numbers from horse owners, and we're making efforts to improve breeders and trainers numbers. As I told you, I visited barn to barn some of the trainers, the racetrack. I'm planning to do a second round of barn to barn visits. But right now, this is where we are. Granted, we all know it's been difficult time to begin the racing season. People are right now focused on other stuff. All their energy is leading towards other places to solve other fronts of what they need to do. So that's why all of us, the HBPA, the ATVA, the AQRA, and the University of Arizona, we still keep an optimistic attitude about it, because we know how important this study is. We know everybody wants to have a good quality product at the end of this study. So we're just working harder. That's what I want to tell you all on the Racing Commission. And this is a good time for everybody to come together and encourage people to take this study and embrace it as theirs, because this is everybody's study. Can you go to the next one, please? So some next steps were right now in the horizon is we've expanded the data collection period. We're thinking tentatively before Thanksgiving would be a good day to start making some like executive decisions, depending on the quality and quantity of responses we get between now and then. We will partner with Third Paradise to also collect the racetrack financial transaction information. So as you all may know, those operational expenses, all the employment, all the capital investments done at the racetrack, those are important dollars that are going to the state economy, and those are explained by the racetrack existing. So that's why we will be including those numbers. The same with AZ Downs, same with Regito, same with Douglas, same with Sonoita. All the facilities are going to be considered in the economic contributions front. So we will process all the financial transactions information we can get from all the racetracks in the state, and we also will partner with off-track betting facilities managers to talk about how racing impact their business. So as you may know, horse racing may bring more audience to these OTB places, so they may need an increased quantity of labor. These may also mean an increased dollars in revenue, but also in expenses. We want to measure those changes that are directly related to horse racing. So we're working on that. We're working in that direction. We're not stopping doing all these efforts. If you go to the next one, please. Thank you. So this is the message I wanted to show you. We've been working day and night every single week, trying to have every week some terrain gained. This is, as of right now, a good moment to double down efforts, to come together as an industry. I wanted to show you all here in the Racing Commission these numbers so that we all can spread the word that this is a positive thing that is happening. This is a positive thing to be engaged with. We will all have a better quality end product in the study if we all come together, give good responses to the surveys. We all sit down and collaborate, sharing those financial reports, those tax information, maybe like the revenues, the expenses, the investments, the employment information from the racetracks. All of us, it's a good time for coming together towards this effort and these goals. Thank you very much for your attention and all your collaboration.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Yother, you raised your hand.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to echo Mr. Quintero's report and express the disappointment that I have in the horsemen, the breeders, the trainers, the owners. This is your information. This is not a information collecting proposition. We're not collecting information for anything other than to improve horse racing. So I'd like to reach out. Probably not many owners, trainers, or breeders on this call, but I'd like to reach out to everyone and just to remind anybody that's in the horse racing business that they need to get a hold of somebody. Call the HPPA office, call anybody, and get in touch with that survey and get this done. We're spending a tremendous amount of money for very little results, and it's all due to our own fault. So I just want to encourage everybody to reach out and try to get this done. Appreciate the time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir. And I echo that. This report is incredibly important to the future of racing. It can provide some very, very important information, but it's imperative that everybody get involved and spread the word and get the surveys back, get as accurate and detailed information as entirely possible, because I think it will provide a wealth of information regarding the importance of racing in the state. Any other comments or questions from my fellow commissioners? All right, let's drop down then on the commission report, summary of current events affecting Arizona racing. I just want to express my appreciation. I know this has been a very trying couple of weeks, but the communication especially involved with everybody from the gaming to the track to everybody involved in getting racing ready. I have to commend Turf Paradise and Mr. Francia, Mr. Sims, the HBPA, especially the division staff. They worked tirelessly, Mr. Duncan and Mr. Estrada, Mr. Roush, and the vets as well. I'm really impressed with the energy and dedication that has went on to get this track up and running and getting racing going. The momentum is fantastic, and I would like to be able to see that not stop. If we all have to take a breath now. We've got horses on the track, but let's keep that momentum going and keep the communication open and get this through this season and have the success that everybody is looking for. I don't have a list, Anna, for call to the public, so I'm just going to open a call to the public. Do we
Madam,
have?
we
Yes, ma'am.
have, Mr. Nolan. I
Thank
sent
you.
an
Thank
email,
you.
but he was the only one on there.
All right, wonderful. Do I have any other comments or questions from my fellow commissioners before I drop down to call to the public? Again, thank you, everyone. Let's drop down then to E, call to the public. Mr. Nolan, are you available?
Yes. Yes, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair and fellow commissioners. First and foremost, I find it very important to welcome Commissioner Padish, a former Superior Court judge. The legal expertise is so crucial. We also have Ms. Olson, the Vice Chair, with legal expertise, and on board is, I believe, Valerie Marciano. I think there's need for a lot of legal expertise as we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Padish, or Commissioner Padish, for wanting to serve. This is a difficult time in our industry. Been a lot of ups and downs. A lot of time has gone by, and now there's this urgency to get everything done. We've missed 1 week of the meet due to no natural disaster, due to a delay game. Everything should have been done months prior to what's happened. You know, there were 300 horses entered that first week, all of them with maybe an expectation of a winning purse. And the irreparable harm that has occurred can't be given back. They say, well, you got to make another race, but those events are now behind us. You can't get them back. And that's what's wrong. It's not a natural disaster occurred. It's the negligence of a permittee to wait, and now there's a great urgency to get it done. With that said, I also want to thank the commission for listening, that this is a Friday meeting. No one really got notice that we were going on a Friday. We had to wait till yesterday to get the notice. Hopefully, that will continue. Not enough people really are aware of this meeting taking place, and I think you'll find bigger participation in the future if we can do it on these non-race days. That's very important to me. And with that said, I don't mean to get a little ahead of the chair, but the announcement is for the next meeting to be Wednesday, December 11th. And I'm not sure if that's the regular monthly meeting or if that is just the meeting to wait the 45-day period for the conditional permit to be readdressed. There's several concerns with that July continuation that I certainly have. I'd certainly know that in the past administration under Director Casillas, I think Director Johnson's aware that there were several grievances filed by the HPBA and some of its members that were thrown in the trash that can't be a matter of record now. Had they been dealt with through the due process in the legal channels that are provided by statute, they would be part of the record when you're trying to make a decision at this next meeting. The next meeting is December 11th on a Wednesday, and it's concerning the permit. And that's my concern, is the delay game has cost enormous amounts of money for people, enough aggravation that really you can't stress unless you're out there with these people. They also talk about in this next meeting, the financials that were discussed. I think his name was Mr. Tanner. I'm hoping that that will be completely addressed again. One of the concerns I had when one of his statements was he can only deal with the numbers that Turf Paradise gave him. And the $2 million a year in legal fees is concerning that that's been going on approximately 15 years of two brothers litigating that are hurting the industry. There's also a 10-year litigation against the commission. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. For you to make a proper decision at this next meeting, you need to be aware of all of these factors. That delay game, You know, we've called these September and October meetings for over a decade Groundhog Day because nothing had been accomplished from the summer. And it's always late, and it cost them. And it cost the horsemen this year. 300 horses should have had a chance for the winning share of a purse. That's an irreparable harm we can't get back. And that needs to be dealt with. It needs to be addressed in this meeting, in this hearing. I'm not sure if this next December 11th meeting is going to be the regular monthly meeting, or will you have another meeting the following day, which is an originally scheduled one, which I hope is moved to a Friday. This Friday, and we get more awareness to the people that Friday people can participate. They need to participate. They need their voice heard so that the commission can make proper decisions as we try to move this industry forward. We have a lot of awareness, and I'm thankful. Unbelievable amount of awareness. Thank you to Mr. Brian Duncan. I've seen him and Juan Estrada out there before 6 a.m. checking things, trying to make sure. But this is after the fact. It should have been done months ago. And I get you. I'm off my 5 minutes. I thank you.
Right.
I didn't mean to have to get ahead of you, but it's important that this commission must be fully aware of all the things that have been silenced.
All
I
right.
have been
Thank
silenced.
you, sir.
Thank you.
And let's just get a clarification from staff. We do have a meeting on a Wednesday that is to meet the 45-day deadline on the conditional permit. And then we do have our regular Friday meetings that will be scheduled throughout the rest of the year, correct?
Sorry, what was the question again? We have a regular.
Yes, ma'am. Just as a clarification to Mr. Nolan, our Wednesday meeting is in regards to our 45-day conditional permit for Turf Paradise so that we can address that with timely. And then we do have our regular Friday monthly meetings, correct, Anna?
For next month, no, we moved the regular meeting to the Wednesday so that we did not have to try to schedule all commissioners for 2 days in the same week. But moving forward for the rest of the race meet season, they will be on Fridays and then back to Thursdays once the meet is over.
Excellent. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that clarification. Do I have anyone else on call to the public? Any other comments or questions from my fellow commissioners? All right, with that, we do have our next meeting on November 15th at 9 a.m. That will be
December.
A virtual meeting, correct, Anna? On Google Meets, they'll post that information for the November 15th meeting. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, Miss Marciano, yes, ma'am. Go
Just
ahead.
wanted to make a clarification. Are you referring to the December 15th?
I'm sorry, yes, December 11th. My apologies, thank you. The dates are getting away from me. Any other comments or questions? Otherwise, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
This
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Thank you. With a motion by Commissioner Coolidge and a second by Commissioner Zucker, I will call the roll. Madam French Contreras.
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson had to drop off. Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
Commissioner Zucker.
Yes.
Commissioner Padish.
Yes.
Thank you. The time is 11:23 a.m. This meeting has adjourned. If everyone can please exit the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.